To His Holiness Pope Robert Francis, I do not write from golden halls or consulates abroad, but from the heart of my nation Burkina Faso, where our soil is stained with martyrs' blood, and revolution speaks louder than foreign drones in the sky. I write not for favor, nor to perform diplomacy. I write as a son of Africa's God, but standing. You are now the spiritual leader of over 1 billion lives, millions of them African. You take on not only a church, but a legacy. And as white smoke still drifts above the Vatican, I must send this letter over oceans, through deserts, past borders, and idols straight to your soul. Because history demands it. Because truth insists. Because Africa, still hurting and still rising, is watching, Your Holiness. We Africans know the cross well. We know the chants, the rosaries, the litanies. We built your cathedrals with blistered hands and defended faith with spilled blood. But we know another truth, a truth many would rather forget. That the church walked beside colonizers, that missionaries prayed while soldiers looted, that sermons about heaven accompanied shackles on earth. And even now, in this age called modern, the chains are not iron, but silence, neglect, and global politics cloaked in sanctity. So I speak in the name of mothers kneeling on bare earth and children in catechism with hollow stomachs. Will your papacy be different? Will you see Africa not as a borderland but as a beacon? Will you be a pope who does more than pose and the slum shoe dares to rage against what makes those slums endure? Understand this. I am not a product of privilege. My education came not from Paris salons but in the trenches of struggle. My leadership is born of conflict, not comfort. I represent a nation long dismissed until we refused to disappear. They told us we were too poor to stand, too broken to lead, too chaotic to resist. But I say this now, with the thunder of my ancestors, I no longer ask permission for my people to exist. We are finished begging approval from those who strip our land while preaching virtue. We are done watching spiritual leaders avert their gaze because our pain is politically messy. Your Holiness, I do not speak for Burkina Faso alone. I speak for a whole continent tired of being patronized. Africa is not an object of pity, we are a land of prophets. Prophets who paid with exile and death for speaking truth to power. And now, as you wear the ring of St. Peter, will you walk the prophet's path, be caged by politics? We do not need more kind words. We do not need more prayers, offered as African gold is smuggled from Congo and Niger's uranium lights, homes far from home. We do not need neutrality. While African youth drown in seas escaping wars they did not spark, fought with weapons they did not make. We do not need soft diplomacy, while our sovereignty is auctioned in boardrooms across Brussels, Washington, and Geneva. What we need is a pope who will name the Herods of today, who will denounce economic empires as boldly as the church once opposed communism, who will declare it sinful to profit from Africa's collapse. You know the gospel. You know Christ flipped tables. You know he called the peacemakers blessed, but never praised the appeasers. So I ask plainly, will you denounce France's silent hand in Sahel? Will you expose the weapons traded for chaos in our lands? Will you name the greed that hides behind goodwill, the diplomacy that cloaks domination? Because we see it, we endure it. I do not ask you to become African. I ask you to become brave, to be moral, to be human, because courage is not blessing emperors. It is standing beside the broken when no one else will. Let me be direct. The Vatican holds wealth that could move mountains, access that reaches the globe. But real power is the courage to name injustice, even when it wears a tailored suit and smiles through its sins. Your Holiness, the world teeters at the edge, and Africa bruised, but brilliantis, not simply watching. We are climbing, we are rising. We are bleeding and asking hard questions, louder than the church's canon law. Where was the church when foreign mercenaries toppled our governments? When our youth were forced into wars funded by peacekeeping nations? When our currencies were crushed? When the IMF suffocated our economies? When our leaders were punished for choosing independence over obedience? Don't tell us to forgive while the whip remains in the hand. Don't ask us to pray when our prayers are answered with airstrikes. Don't preach peace without condemning the profiteers of war. Because silence, Your Holiness, is no longer sacred, and neutrality is no longer noble. If you are to lead the global flock, then hear this cry from the dust of Ouagadougou. We are sheep too, but we don't wait quietly. We protest. We fall. We rise. We carry fire in our lungs and scripture on our tongues. We are not asking for mercy. We are demanding truth. And truth starts with confession that Christianity in Africa has been both balm and blade. That the church uplifted our spirits but abandoned our bodies. That redemption, without reckoning, is only a half-truth. And half-truth cannot heal nations. You sit now in Peter's chair. But remember, Peter denied Christ 3 times before the rooster crowed. Do not let history record that the church denied Africa again. Let the rooster cry out across the Vatican. Let it shake the silence of cardinals and heads of state. Let it ring down the halls of power, where robes and rifles exchange silence for sway. Let it announce a turning not just for the church, but for all humanity. Because here in Africa, we do not fear hymns. We ride them. We are the sons and daughters of Sankara, Lumumba, Nkrumah, and Biko. We carry both the Bible and the legacy of rebellion. We've learned to pray and resist in the same breath. And so I ask, will your papacy walk beside us? Will it meet us in suffering, not just in sanctuaries? Will it see God in our hunger, Christ in our chaos, the Spirit in our struggle? If not now, when? If not you, who? And if the church keeps preaching peace while ignoring the engines of oppression, what gospel will be left? I speak this not from rage, but from sacred urgency. We are people at the crossroads between prophecy and politics. And Africa's moment isn't coming, it is here. We are retelling the story, reshaping the map, reclaiming a dignity stolen by empire and sanctified by silence. And the church must now choose. Will it stand with the powers that exploit or with the people who endure? I do not write to accuse. I write to invite it, call you, your holiness, into a deeper solidarity. One that walks barefoot with the poor, that names injustice in Rome, just as it does in Rwanda. That calls saints not only by their miracles, but by their fight for justice. We await your voice not from balconies, but from camps, prisons, fields, and frontline trenches. Because only a voice like yours can break the silence. And if you dare to speak, not only will Africa hear you, the world will rise to meet your words. Captain Ibrahim, President of the Transition, Burkina Faso, Son of Africa, Servant of Sovereignty.